She died today of cancer at age 62 in her Los Angeles home, surrounded by her family.
I might, in my own way, be able to contribute a little something too, and that an audience would enjoy.
Remember her? The enchanting smile, the gentle twitch of her nose, the woman who made us believe in magic. Elizabeth Montgomery, America's favorite TV wife. The beloved Samantha Stephens from Bewitched seemed to have the perfect life, the perfect marriage, the perfect love. But that was only on screen. Behind the camera, her world was far from a fairy tale. She walked down the aisle not once, not twice, but 4 times. Her first marriage fell apart in a single year. Her second was a secret nightmare with a chilling, tragic end. Her third, to the powerful producer who helped make her a star, was destroyed by a scandalous affair with another man on set. The woman who brought joy to millions was silently searching for love, for loyalty, for someone who truly saw her. But why did every love story end in heartbreak? And how could someone who gave the world so much happiness never find it for herself? This is the untold, heartbreaking love story of Elizabeth Montgomery. Try not to cry when you hear it. Elizabeth Montgomery was born into a famous family. Her mother was a Broadway actress, and her father was a very famous movie star. From the time she was little, she was around actors in Hollywood. But her family life was not happy. She did not get along well with her father. When she decided to become an actress, her father did not support her. Later, when she became very successful with her TV show, Bewitched, her father was actually jealous of her. There was a sad reason for their bad relationship. Before Elizabeth was born, her parents had another baby girl who died. Some people think her father was always upset about this. They believe he was cold to Elizabeth because she lived while his first daughter died. Because her father was so cold, Elizabeth did not want her own children to spend much time with him. She did not want them to feel as unloved as she had felt when she was young. Elizabeth Montgomery's career as an actress started long before she became famous for Bewitched. She worked very hard for many years to become a star. She began by acting in many live television shows in the 1950s. This was a time when TV shows were often performed live in front of the camera. She acted in hundreds of these live dramas, which was great training for her. She also appeared in a few movies, but these smaller roles did not make her a big star yet. She was a working actress, but she was not a household name. Her big break came in 1964 with the television show Bewitched. She played the main character, Samantha Stephens, a friendly witch who marries an ordinary man named Darren. The show was a huge hit and made Elizabeth Montgomery one of the most famous actresses on television. People loved her charming and funny performance. The show was so popular that it stayed on the air for 8 years. Interestingly, it was her third husband, Bill Asher, who helped her get the role. He was one of the show's producers and believed she was perfect for the part of Samantha. He was right. The show was a major success and is still loved by people today through reruns. During the show's run, Elizabeth showed she was a very serious actress. She didn't just play Samantha one way. She also enjoyed playing Samantha's naughty cousin, Serena. She used a different wig and a different personality for this role, and many fans did not even know it was also her. This proved she was a talented and versatile performer. Even while Bewitched was still on television, she began to take on more serious roles in TV movies. After Bewitched ended in 1972, she focused completely on these kinds of projects. She did not want to be known only as Samantha Stephens. She became very well respected for starring in movies based on true stories, where she often played women in difficult situations. For example, she played a real-life woman who was a victim of abuse and fought back. In another famous role, she played a woman who worked to expose a terrible crime. These roles showed everyone that she was not just a sitcom star, but a powerful and skilled dramatic actress. Throughout the rest of her life, she continued to act in these important TV movies, earning praise and awards for her work. She successfully moved from being the magical Samantha on Bewitched to being a respected actress who tackled tough and serious stories. Her career showed her great talent and her ability to play many different kinds of characters. Elizabeth Montgomery's first marriage was to a man named Frederick Cameron. She was very young, only 21 years old, when they got married in 1954. At this time, Elizabeth was not yet a famous star, but she was deeply focused on her work and was determined to build a successful career as an actress in Hollywood. This strong drive and ambition to make a name for herself created a major problem in the marriage. Very early on, her life was consumed by her acting jobs, auditions, and the demands of trying to become famous. Sadly, the young couple could not overcome this challenge. Their marriage lasted for only a single year, ending in divorce in 1955. The main reason for the split was that her dedication to her Hollywood career created a schism or a deep division between them, leaving little room for the marriage to grow. After her first short marriage ended, Elizabeth Montgomery married for a second time in 1956. Her new husband was the actor Gig Young. He was much older than Elizabeth, and their marriage was very different from her first. From the beginning, their relationship was not based on deep love. It was described as a Hollywood marriage which people saw as being more for show than for real connection. Gig Young himself did not pretend that their marriage was anything but superficial. He was open about the fact that it was not a deep romantic partnership. The marriage lasted for nearly 8 years, which was much longer than her first, but it was not a happy time. It has been widely speculated and believed by many that Gig Young was somewhat abusive to Elizabeth during their years together. While the specific details are not fully known, this period is remembered as a difficult and painful chapter in her life. They finally divorced in 1963. The end of this marriage cleared the way for Elizabeth to marry for a third time later that same year to Bill Asher, the producer of Bewitched. The story of Gig Young, however, had a very tragic ending long after his divorce from Elizabeth. He married 2 more times. In 1978, just a few weeks after his 5th marriage to his 4th wife, a man named Kim Schmidt, something terrible happened. Gig Young killed his new wife and then took his own life. This shocking event marked a sad and violent end to the life of the man Elizabeth had been married to for 8 years. Elizabeth Montgomery's 3rd marriage was to Bill Asher, a successful television producer. They got married in 1963, the same year she divorced her second husband. This marriage became the most important one for her career. Bill Asher was a powerful producer in Hollywood, and he is the man who allegedly helped Elizabeth get the role of a lifetime. He stuck his neck out for her and helped her land the lead part in a new show called Bewitched, where she would play the witch Samantha Stephens. The show was a massive hit, making Elizabeth a huge star, and Bill directed many of its episodes. They seemed like a perfect Hollywood team, both personally and professionally. They had 3 children together and stayed married for 9 years, which was her longest marriage. However, the marriage ended in 1973 because Elizabeth had an affair with one of the show's directors. It was reported that Bill had also been unfaithful during their marriage, but he was especially hurt by Elizabeth's affair because she had fallen in love with the other man. Despite their divorce, it is said that Bill Asher never stopped loving Elizabeth and felt responsible for their marriage failing. During the time Elizabeth was starring in Bewitched and married to its producer, Bill Asher, she became involved with another man. This man was Richard Michaels, one of the directors who worked on the show during its later seasons. Almost as soon as he started working there, Elizabeth and Richard felt a strong connection and quickly became very close. As they spent more time together on set, their friendship turned into a romantic relationship and they began a secret affair. It became very difficult for them to hide their feelings for each other. Soon, other people working on the show began to notice what was happening, including Elizabeth's husband, Bill Asher. The secret was discovered by their spouses. The affair had serious consequences, causing the end of 2 marriages. Richard Michaels' wife found out about the relationship and divorced him in 1972. Elizabeth and Bill Asher tried to save their marriage after he found out. They attempted to reconcile and work through their problems. However, they could not fix the damage. They finally divorced in 1973. The reason this affair ended their marriage, even though Bill had also been unfaithful in the past, was the emotional nature of Elizabeth's relationship with Richard. Bill could handle casual affairs, but he could not stand to see his wife truly in love with another man. That deep emotional connection is what ultimately broke their marriage apart. In the end, even though Elizabeth and Richard Michaels were said to be madly in love, they never married each other. After their divorces, they went their separate ways. Elizabeth eventually married someone else. Bill Asher, however, never really got over her. For the rest of his life, he reportedly remained in love with Elizabeth and believed that he was the one to blame for all the bad things that happened in their marriage. Elizabeth Montgomery's 4th and final marriage was to a younger actor named Robert Foxworth. She had known him for many years before their relationship turned romantic. By the time they got together, Elizabeth had been divorced from Bill Asher for a long time. She and Robert Foxworth began a relationship that lasted for many years before they finally decided to get married in 1993. This marriage was much different from her previous ones. It was not a short, passionate Hollywood romance, but a long-term commitment that had grown over time. Sadly, their official time as a married couple was very brief. Only 2 years after they exchanged vows, Elizabeth became very sick. She was diagnosed with colon cancer, and just a few months later she died from the disease in 1995 at the age of 62. Robert Foxworth, her fourth husband, survived her. Though their official marriage was short, their partnership had lasted for nearly 2 decades, and he was by her side until the very end. Elizabeth Montgomery was a mother to 3 children. She had a son named William and a daughter named Rebecca with her third husband, Bill Asher. Later, she and her fourth husband, Robert Foxworth, adopted a son together named John. By all accounts, Elizabeth was a very devoted and loving mother. She made a conscious decision to put her family first, even at the height of her fame. While she was a major television star, she insisted that Bewitched be filmed only during school hours. This was because she had a firm rule that she would never work late and would always be home to have dinner with her children. She wanted to give them a stable and normal home life, which was the complete opposite of her own cold and lonely childhood with her father. She was known to be warm, fun-loving, and deeply involved in their daily lives. Friends and family described her as being wonderful with her kids, always making them feel loved and secure. As for what her children are doing now, they have all chosen to live very private lives away from the Hollywood spotlight. This is something they learned from their mother, who valued her own privacy greatly. Her eldest son, William Asher, has worked behind the scenes in the entertainment industry as a camera technician and director of photography. He has worked on various television shows and movies, but he does not seek public attention. Her daughter, Rebecca Asher, has also stayed completely out of the public eye. There is very little information available about her, which suggests she has chosen a life that is not connected to fame or acting. She has successfully maintained her privacy. Her youngest son, John Foxworth, who was adopted, has also lived a very quiet and private life. Like his siblings, he has not pursued a career in acting and avoids any media attention. Elizabeth Montgomery's greatest success may have been as a mother. She broke the cycle of her own unhappy childhood and created a warm and loving home for her 3 children. In honor of their mother's memory and her own values, all 3 of her children have chosen to live quiet, private lives, and the public respects their wish to stay out of the spotlight. Looking at Elizabeth's life, many people believe her difficult relationships with men were connected to her cold and distant father, the famous actor Robert Montgomery. He was not a loving or supportive figure in her life and was even jealous of her success. This lack of love from her father may have led her to constantly seek validation and affection from older men throughout her adulthood in a search for the approval she never received from him. Elizabeth Montgomery left behind a powerful and lasting legacy that is remembered for both her incredible talent and her complex, compassionate life away from the camera. Her legacy as an actress is first and foremost defined by one of the most iconic characters in television history, Samantha Stephens on Bewitched. With a twitch of her nose, she created a character that was charming, powerful, kind, and funny all at once. The show was a massive hit, and for 8 years she brought magic and laughter into millions of homes. Samantha became a symbol of a woman who could have anything, but chose a simple life of love and family, which audiences adored. But Elizabeth was much more than just one role. She was a serious and talented actress who worked hard to show her range. Even during Bewitched, she played Samantha's mischievous cousin, Serena, and many fans had no idea it was the same person. After the show ended, she refused to be typecast. She dedicated herself to starring in television movies that tackled difficult and important true stories. She played victims of abuse, a woman fighting to expose a murder, and other dramatic roles. This showed the world that she was not just a sitcom star, but a powerful dramatic actress who could handle serious and emotional subjects with great skill. As a person, her legacy is more private, but just as meaningful. She was a mother of 3 and was known to be a very loyal friend. Despite her own glamorous life, she was a person with strong principles. She was a vocal supporter of civil rights and other social justice causes at a time when it was not always popular for stars to speak out. Her personal life was marked by a search for love and stability. She was married 4 times, and her relationships were often complicated and sometimes unhappy. This makes her a relatable figure. She played a perfect magical wife on television, but in real life she faced the same struggles and heartbreaks as many people. Her difficult childhood with a cold and distant father may have shaped this part of her life, making her a complex person who was both strong and vulnerable. In the end, Elizabeth Montgomery's legacy is a dual one. She is forever remembered as the beloved witch Samantha Stephens, a character of pure joy and comedy that continues to charm new generations. At the same time, she is remembered as a talented and serious actress and a real woman with depth, principles, and human flaws. Her story reminds us that behind the magical television image was a real person whose life was both brilliant and beautifully imperfect.